What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel once more. This week we set forth in the Amber Titan Gate on tier 3, which is predominantly undead. I am mostly going to be relying on my voltage because it's time to heat up the old feral cannon. I got it up to 4-star, which means it does, well, pretty much the same as it did last week when it was 3-star, but it does a little bit more damage now, I guess. So, still looks the same. Well, the gun itself looks different slightly, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's head on in. See if we can't heat that up. I have no idea how practical it is. I mean, a lot of people have said, yeah, it's a bit fiddly to use. It doesn't have a lot of practical applications, is what I've heard about it. So whether it's actually worth bothering with the bloody thing or not, I don't know. But it's a nice novelty weapon, I suppose. Something different to have. I have the materials to use it, and not a moment too soon, for in the Spiral Knights news this week is that the torture drones are gone, so that's what's happening. Those are finished, I guess, at some point fairly recently, within the last probably about 12 hours or so, at time of recording at any rate. So that has concluded. I have 15 shells remaining to my name, which will be enough to upgrade it to the 5-star level. With 3 left of whatever surprises may be in store next time. So I get a little 3-shell boost, I guess, maybe, when we're crafting next time around. I didn't feel the need to go craft all of them because, as I say, it seems like kind of a novelty weapon. Also, I remember trying to craft the shields, and that cost me a lot of sparks. I mean, this cost me enough sparks as it was this time, so I'd rather not go through all of them, if at all possible. So I'm not going to. So one gun is all I am going to come out of this particular promotional event with, and I'm quite happy with that state of affairs. I shall content myself with it. So yeah, there's not a lot else new in the world. It's kind of the end of things. I have no idea if any lockboxes are still going. I suppose there's a very quick way to find that one out. I don't know if they're going to be still there. Almaya furniture boxes are apparently still up here. I don't. There are no what do you call it? The ancient ones. The ancient ones are in fact gone, but the Almaya ones remain. Again, this is obviously being recorded 24 hours or so in advance of the video going up, due to things like my having a job these days. So that may not be the case by tomorrow. I'm not actually 100% on when the Almaya promotion actually ends. So that could have ended as well. Check your supply depot. If you wanted furniture, well, you've had 2 weeks to buy furniture, and it's your own damn silly fault for not. Is this a good move? The lunged forward before I shoot seemed like that was a risky maneuver. But yeah, if you wanted furniture, maybe you should have picked it up some point within the last 2 weeks instead of leaving it till the last moment. You know what happens when you leave it till the last moment? Yeah, your parents told you about that one. Well, I speak mainly from personal experience there. I'm the sort of person who leaves things to the last minute and gets lectured about it, but, you know, that's the way things roll. So, yeah, what else has been going on? In the Germany saga, the story of working in Berlin, I hope to have some rather good news for you at this point. I hope to be able to say, I'm going to move to Berlin, this is going to be awesome. I can't say that. Because the interview I had last week, I guess I hadn't had that when I recorded the video. That interview went well. Had I done that? Oh, I hadn't heard back from the interview. That went well. I got through to a second stage of interview. That was supposed to be today, but I haven't heard from the guy. So now I'm concerned. And I have had no emails, no correspondence, no contact. He hasn't even added me on Skype, and Skype was supposed to be how the interview was conducted. So I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm a little concerned, but at the same time, I don't know whether I should be or not. It could just be that things have come up. You know, games development. They're not even a developer, they're a publisher. Games publishing, I'm sure things come up in games publishing, and there was a major emergency that required all hands on deck or something, and I'm freaking out about nothing. I don't know. All I know is this would be really, really, really cool if this happened, but I don't know at this stage. I just don't know. Only time will tell. I suppose I could shoot him another email, but I have shot him a few emails in the last few days and had no response, which is why I'm kind of like, well, if I don't want to overdo it. I don't want him to go, oh my god, this guy's so annoying. He just won't stop emailing me about this bloody job. I wish he'd go away. And yeah, not the response I'm looking for. But otherwise, yeah, seemed positive last time. He seemed pretty... he's pretty good at that I had knowledge of free-to-play games. One of the questions that came up was like, do you know what our business model is? Or what kind of games we publish? And I was like, is it free-to-play games? And you're like, yes, it is. Do you know what that means? I was like, yes, I know what free-to-play means. Like, oh, good. I have to explain that to a lot of people. I was like, oh, well, I know these things. I've been playing Spiral Knights long enough. I know what free-to-play means. It means they gouge us with promotions all day long. Although, if I work for them, it will be my job to promote said promotions, so you can expect me to extol the virtues of all those wonderful prize boxes, and you should totally want all the prize boxes. That'll be a thing, maybe. We shall see. Anyway, that's news about me. I work on the presumption some people are interested in me, and the whole point of this is it's kind of a vlog kind of thing. This was never about Spiral Knights. Spiral Knights is just background noise. So I'm going to take the liberty of talking about myself ad nauseam, and if you don't like it, well, this is not the series for you. Sorry, this is a series in which I talk about things, including myself. Myself is one of the things I talk about. What else? Ooh, on the channel, in channel news, which is slightly myself, slightly YouTubey, I am very, very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. And, oh, hang on, let's not derp this up. Let's free the ghosties, hello. And get shot by the ghosties, hello. And get killed the ghosties, there we go. Woo! So yeah, very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I've had a few people have messaged me over the last few weeks. They had noticed that this was a thing that was coming up close as well. Like, oh, are you going to do anything? And I'm like, I haven't planned that far ahead. You know what I just said about leaving things to the last minute? Yeah. That's the way that one is. Do I have any plans for 1,000? No. No, I don't. Should I have some plans for 1,000? I probably should have something. I don't know. I feel like I should do some kind of special video of some sort, but I don't know what it would be or anything. I don't know. I really don't. I shall deal with it when I get there, perhaps. Or maybe not. Maybe I will just twiddle my thumbs until, I don't know, until doomsday. Maybe it's not even important. Maybe it doesn't need celebrating. I know a lot of YouTubers, quite a lot of YouTubers do like to go, woo, milestones, and then there's an entire other sort of camp that's just like, yeah, milestones. Man, it's just a number. Why does it matter more than any other number? It's like, well, it's true, but it's nice to have a celebration once in a while. I just have no idea what I would do. Maybe I could do some lockdown. Or maybe not. Maybe I could do some blast network. Hey, that could be interesting. I don't know. Answers on a postcard, thoughts, suggestions, leave them in the comments below. You know how to do that, right? Actually, I suspect maybe many of you don't. There is, if you scroll down below this video, there is a comments field. You can leave comments there. That's a thing you can do. And then you can leave me questions and topics and things to talk about, and I will give you a mini shout-out when you do, because this is a thing I do on this series. I talk about things and give people mini shout-outs about the things that they have offered for me to talk about. And I only say many of you perhaps don't know how to use the comments on the basis that I haven't had too many in the last couple of weeks, so I will say this series does seem to sort of has a viewership of 150 200 people view it each week. I feel like at least some of you must have something interesting you could possibly ask. Where y'all at? Come on, give me some questions. At any rate, I still got a big pile of them that Sky Scythe sent a little while back. Now, how do I get this door open? What have I missed? I feel like I've missed something critical. Is there I guess there was a thing up here? There was a thing up here, probably. Yes, this must be the way. Oh, but I need to... Damn it! I need to hit a thing from around the thing and do the thing. You know, the thing. There aren't even... How? What? There aren't even any jars. Can I shoot that? Oh, that's got the range. That's okay. That's cool. So yes, obviously Sky Scythe a bunch of weeks back sent me a bloody load of questions, so we'll do a few of those. Sky Scythe getting his usual shout out. So this is going to be a foodie episode, I think, because a bunch of food questions I never got around to answering, and they're all kind of related, so let's do a bunch of them together, I suppose. So, generally speaking, are you a healthy eater, he asks. Maybe? I'm not, strictly speaking, an especially unhealthy eater. I do eat a lot of junk food, though, and stuffs. And seriously, I'm still missing like an entire chunk of this level. I must have been here a million times, and I can't figure out how did that door open. Oh, was it the switch? That switch might have been the thing. The switch... Let's press the switch, see what the switch did. I do eat a lot of things that probably aren't so terribly great for me. Okay, now I'm running out of ideas. How door open? What could I possibly have missed? Must be a switch hidden under something? Do I have to go through and break everything? Seriously? In fact, where does this go? Where does this go? This goes to some minerals. You know what? It's probably not worth fussing about. Are there two variants on this level? I think there might be two variants on this level. Where, like, that's an alternative exit? Am I right in thinking that's a thing? I don't know. Why is this level so confusing? I don't know. I've done it so many times, and yet suddenly this one has completely befuddled me. My brain has ceased to function. Anyway, cravat hole, that is forge onwards. Ignore the bits that I can't figure out. Yeah, healthy foods. I do kind of occasionally eat a salad, and then I congratulate myself and go, yes, good on you, you ate a salad, you are so healthy. Why don't you have a big cake for dessert, just to balance out the healthiness? That way you've had on average an average meal. You've had something healthy and you've had something unhealthy, so they probably cancel each other out, and therefore it's kind of average. And I don't think my diet's too bad. I mean, I think the beer is probably the worst for me. I'm getting a little bit podgy these days. I didn't used to be quite so podgy, and I suspect it's just the fact that if anyone says, hey, do you want to go for a beer? I have a tendency to not say no to that. So I was like, hey, do you want to go down to the pub? Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah, pub's pretty good. Sounds like a good plan. So we've got, I live just down the road from a brewery as well, and they do a beer club on the last Friday of every month, and those invariably end up on having a few too many real ales. Rather tasty, but not necessarily particularly good for you. I think my diet is just kind of average, but the beers are probably just make it so much worse. So that's how I eat. So I mean, a vast majority of stuff I eat is like, it's either a lot of pasta or rice-based dishes actually. So the food stuff is not especially varied, but not especially unhealthy. I suppose some people take issue with lots of carbs, and I eat a lot of pasta, which is kind of a lot of carbs. So they'd probably hate that, but yeah, I can deal. There is if you don't subscribe to him, he's not especially active, he kind of does it in series, but David Mitchell of Mitchell and Webb, if you are familiar with those two, he has a series on YouTube that he occasionally does like seasons of them, in which he just rants about stuff, because he's one of those people who is just fantastic for ranting about things, and there was one in which he ranted about carb-free diets, and it's just like, why would you give up carbs? Carbs are in everything that's delicious. I mean, to give up carbs, you need to give up bread, you need to give up pasta, you need to give up... Everything good has carbs in it. That's just a ludicrous way to go through life. You could not live... I certainly... I would not want to live without carbs. Carbs are everything that is good in life. You know, your pastries, your sugary treats, your breads, they're all delicious. It seems like a silly thing to want to give up. A life without carbs would be bland and tasteless, in my humble and perhaps David Mitchell's humble opinions. So yeah, that's what I eat. Skysire goes on to ask, what is your opinion on those diet, in quotes, ciders that are no more healthy than regular ones? I'm not entirely certain by what you mean by this. I'm not particularly up on sodas. I'm not sort of person who obsesses over particularly healthy things. I do tend to buy diet stuff as opposed to non-diet stuff if it's an option. Although even then I'm not too stringent about it, just because I'm aware I eat too much junk as it is, and you know, not eating a big can full of sugar, or you know, drinking. I don't tend to eat the can. It tends to be a bit crunchy and metallic for my taste, to be honest. But yeah, occasionally I will consume a cold beverage in a can, and if it's not chock full of sugar, perhaps that's so much the better for me. So I will tend to, broadly speaking, on occasion, tend to opt for the more dieted options. But not so much so that it probably makes a major difference in my life, to be honest. It probably has negligible consequence. And I don't know, I wasn't aware there was much of an issue with it. Again, I think regulations differ, though, between countries, so it may be that across the pond they put junk in sodas or cokes or whatever. We don't call them sodas over here, but whatever. Your fizzy drinks. You don't tend to put stuff in them that I'm aware is bad. I don't think many countries particularly put stuff that's particularly bad. I think the US is, generally speaking, regarded by much of the world as being worse than other countries for putting junk in. I mean, I don't think many other countries do the whole high fructose corn syrup junk, because I think that's generally considered to be a pretty poor thing. But again, you sort of look at regulations and things that the US goes, yeah, that's okay, yeah, sure, chow down on that. Other countries are like, yeah, maybe not, no, let's put something else in there instead. See McDonald's and how their recipes differ across the ocean. They tend to differ a little. So, but I think generally if something's been studied at great length by scientists and proved that, if you consume this, it's not going to do you any particular amount of harm, yeah, I think it's pretty okay. I mean, I know there's like arguments like, oh, you don't know what the long-term effects are. We haven't been using these long enough to know what effects it's going to have in humans 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And yes, but that's true of a lot of things. And to be honest, not really entirely worth worrying about, probably. Because there's no way of knowing that, really, until 20, 30 years down the line. Sure, maybe that makes me a guinea pig, but everybody's a guinea pig about lots of things. Like I say, there's lots of things that we don't really know and are probably... In the short term, they seem to be pretty A-okay, but we do not know what effects they will have on the human physiology on the long term. Who could say? Scientists, they could probably say, but only after long-term studying it, so there you go. Are you a fan of processed foods, or are you more au naturel? I probably eat a lot of processed foods. As I say, my diet's not a particularly, I must eat all healthy, wonderful organic salads and junk. I mean, quite frankly, I don't get paid enough to eat organic junk. I mean, I'm on minimum wage. I mean, I would have to double check how things are calculated, but at a casual glance, I was kind of doing the numbers the other day, and I was like, I feel like I'm getting paid less than minimum wage, so I should probably get that one checked out. I might not be. I'm sure the accountants will go, no, that's exactly how much you need to pay someone. But I do feel like what I'm currently on is kind of, that's not strictly legal, I'm fairly certain. This is not the US, and this is not a service job, so they don't get away with that. They wouldn't get away with that in this country anyway. Service jobs pay minimum wage whether they like it or not. That's the thing. But there you go. So, no, processed foods are nice and cheap and tend to be fairly delicious, and I will gladly consume them for the deliciousness and the affordability of them. They're maybe not the best things I could possibly eat, but they are tasty and cheap. Such is life, such is circumstance for me, I'm afraid. I mean, I don't know if I were to be paid more. I don't know whether I'd probably start looking at better options. I'd probably be like, well, I can afford to eat a little better in my life. I could probably, stand to eat better things. Probably. I don't know whether I'd actually plump for the organic option, because actually, when you actually do research on the organic stuff, it often turns out that it's nigh on identical to stuff that's not. I mean, a fun story I read somewhere on the internet, which means it's probably a lie, is organic milk. I just smashed that to get the coin and didn't pick up the coin. Ha! I'm good at this. I wasn't paying attention, I was looking on the other screen. Yeah, a fun story I read on the internet, which is probably a lie about organic milk, which is to say that they are almost identical. I think organic milk obviously does. I think the regulations are that the cow needs to be like outside in a pasture grazing for 6 months of the year and whatnot, but ultimately the milk that it produces tastes identical to any other milk. You would not, in a taste test, be able to tell the difference. And people expect organic food to taste different because they think that, oh, if it tastes the same, what's the point? It's supposed to taste better. These are better things for me. It's supposed to taste better. So what they do is they ultra heat treat it. You know the stuff that normally sort of comes in like a carton or something and doesn't need to be refrigerated, and you can keep it for months on end, if not years on end, for great swathes of time, because basically they've just been heated to such a temperature that it kills all the nasty things inside it, and it's just perfectly sterile. And ultra heat treatment does change the flavour slightly. I mean, it allows it to be preserved for a ridiculously long length of time, which obviously has its so no doubt has its uses, but it also does change the flavour a little. So what I've heard tell is that with organic milk, they will often ultra heat treat it so that it tastes different. So people go, ah, this tastes different to the regular food, regular milk. This is the organic milk. It tastes different, therefore it is better. It's purely like placebo effect is what it is, but that's a thing. Again, Reddit's on the internet. It's probably a lie. Take from that what you will. I don't know. I did not check sources or verify information. I am not... I should do that. I'm not going to do that. I am not committed enough to finding out milk facts. Again, I buy the cheap stuff. To be fair, actually, no. I buy the low-fat stuff, which actually works out cheaper than any of the other types. There's one that's like milk. For some reason, they've started doing a fourth variety. You always traditionally got like skimmed milk, semi-skimmed, and full fat, and then recently they started doing stuff that's like super skimmed, super semi-skimmed. Like it's less fat than semi-skimmed, but not totally skimmed. Is I guess what it is. It's like 1% cream or something, whereas semi-skimmed I think leaves like 2% or something. I'm not sure exactly. Either way, for whatever reason, they sell that one for considerably cheaper than any of the other three varieties. So that's it. That is my milk preference. Just in case you wanted to know that one whilst we're on food. You're going to know the entire contents of my cupboards by the end of this thing. Damn it. Yeah. So, one more thing. Should suppliers be required to label foods that have been modified by using microorganisms? In what way are we talking? Are you talking GM stuff here, or I mean microorganisms? I guess you're talking like bacteria. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily an issue. I mean, I don't even think the GM thing is an issue. There's a lot of furore about that. Oh, we can't eat GM. It's different. It's been tainted by science. Science is evil, don't you know? They do terrible things. And it's like, well, no, they're improving it. The thing was susceptible to a disease, so they diddled with its DNA, and now it's not susceptible to that disease. Although then there are some bloody ridiculous stories, like a lot of the corn in the US there's like a type of worm that eats the that can infect the corn and cause a lot of damage to the crops, and so they made a GM variant that was resistant to this worm that would destroy the roots of the crop and destroy ultimately the harvest. So the farmers were like, "Oh, this is great! Let's start using this," and start using it everywhere. And most of the crops now use this. And well, the scientists' recommendation were like, "Well, actually, if you use this everywhere, basically." The worm is going to become resistant to this, and it's going to become worse. It's like when you see hospitals talking about super viruses that are resistant to all antibiotics and stuff, and it's because you've relied on something for too long that the thing it's supposed to prevent has, functionally speaking, it has evolved. It has mutated and changed and become resistant to it. And the scientists were like, "Oh yes, you can totally use this GM stuff, and it's better than the ordinary stuff, but you're only supposed to use." You're supposed to keep about 25% of your field as this GM, no more than about 25. 50% of your crop at most should be GM. And so the farmers was like, "But no, we can grow more crops this way. This is way better. Let's just grow as much as we can." And now this worm now becomes super resistant to the GM stuff, and it can quite easily and comfortably, with little effort whatsoever, wipe out entire fields of crop, which can cause devastatingly poor harvests, and ultimately the poor farmer who refused to listen to the scientists is now actually worse off because he didn't listen to the very, very smart guys who told him exactly how he was supposed to deal with it. Yes. So the thing is, there is a lot of peer review and science and regulation and things that goes into a lot of stuff. The problem is that people just don't tend to listen to it. which is where quite a lot of the world's problems do tend to come in. When a scientist says, by the way, we need to do this or you're all screwed, chances are you should probably listen to him rather than going, yeah, but I can't really afford to, or this is going to make me more money if I don't listen to you. Sure, but in the long term, we're all screwed. See climate change for that particular issue as well. That's another great one in the same vein. Scientists have been saying for years, this is unsustainable. We were like, well, we'll deal with it when we're all flooded. Sure. Then we'll panic. So that's the thing. As regards labelling it, again, I personally really don't think it's such a big deal that it warrants it, but if it gives people peace of mind, sure, yeah, go for it. Some people are like, oh, but I need to know. Well, there's a lot of things that happen to your food that you don't know about. You haven't, let's be honest, you haven't done the research as regards most of them. Why, I got a gun, why am I waiting for jars? And there's a jar here. I don't know what I'm waiting for here, but there we go. So I can hit that. Yeah, I can totally hit that. So, yeah, I mean, like, if you look at the ingredients package on anything, you don't know what most of that is. Most people don't read the ingredients, and most people will never do the research as to what's in their food. So, one more thing on the list of things that you really don't know about what you're eating probably really makes absolutely no difference in the long run, to be quite honest with you. Can I do this? No. Can I do this? No. Can I do... That's the wrong direction. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Good. Was there another way to do that? I feel like I did that one backwards. Oh, no, that was sealed off. No, I guess that was the right way. Cool. Pretty cool. So, yeah, people just don't research things, and that's why we have scientists to do the research for you to make sure it's safe, because you're never going to check it out. Let's be honest. Some people will occasionally, but those people generally are the minority. And besides, as I say, it's all been researched. Most of the stuff that's in there is in there for a reason. It's in there for a damn good reason. It's there to make things better. There is a fantastic series of posts I saw on the chemistry subreddit a while back. Those people had taken, like, all organic foods and basically just deconstructed them into a list of chemicals that comprise things. And we're talking about literally just, this is an egg. Straight out of the chicken, let's put it in a mass spectrometer, find out exactly what things comprise an egg, and then just post a big list of them on a picture on the internet. And it was like, well, you don't know what any of those chemicals are, and you could quite easily see that on a list of ingredients. Should that entire list of ingredients be on a package of eggs? Should it say it contains all of these acids and these things and these things and these things and these things and these things? And it's pages and pages long, by the way, the chemicals that make up most of the things that exist. And yeah, just the general ignorance of the public as to the world around them. I mean, I don't even exclude myself in that. Like I say, I don't do the research either, so I can hardly exclude myself. But I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that they're putting nasties in it that's going to brainwash our minds and change our bodies for the nasties and worse and ruin us all. It's absolutely not. That's just ludicrous and scaremongering. And I think GM and foods modified by microorganisms, yes, perhaps they should be labelled in the name of full disclosure, but beyond that, I really think it makes not one jot of difference, to be honest. But anyway, that'll do it for today. Again, please do remember to leave, well, firstly, celebration suggestions in the comments, but also questions. I need more questions. This was a very foodie episode. I need some non-food questions. Whatever springs to mind, please leave it below. And of course, don't forget to check out my Patreon page, which will be linked in the outro in just one moment, as is tradition. And that'll probably just about do it for today. So thank you very much for watching. I have been Meroka. This has been Spiel. I shall see you next time. Yeah!